Hey guys, welcome to Listen Bitch Presents Tell Me Why You're Special. This is the arena where we don't just talk about adventure, we talk about who you become because of it. Because the truth is, most people think confidence comes first. Then they'll take the trip, then they'll start the business, then they'll leave the relationship, then they'll chase the dream. But confidence doesn't work that way. Confidence is earned, it's built in the moments where you're scared. It's built in moments of uncertainty where you're uncomfortable and the times where you move anyway. And somewhere along the way, a lot of people stop living. And I don't think it's because they want to. I think it's because fear convinces them to play it safe. God did not create us for safety alone. He created us for growth, for courage, for movement, for purpose. So today we're going to talk about freedom and fear and adventure and reinvention and confidence and what happens when a woman decides she's not done becoming. Today's guest, I'm very grateful, is Belinda Coker. She's an Australian adventurer. She's a writer, an educator, the founder of Soul Treader and the House Sitting Collective. From solo hikes through Australia's Red Centre to crossing Greenland's Arctic Circle alone, she spent years proving that confidence is built one brave step at a time. Belinda, I mean, just take us back to the first moment you realized that you were capable of more than you'd been giving yourself credit for. What happened?
Sure, Rand, thanks. So it was actually 2020, and I looked in the mirror one day. It was during the whole COVID thing, which I didn't have a hard time with. I was actually really in my element. I was providing, big tables of food for the kids. I mean, everyone was putting on pounds and kilos by the,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and but I remember I'd had a really stressful, I'd say, whole decade of corporate work. And I remember looking at the mirror one day and I just didn't like what I saw.
Yeah.
I was overworked, stressed out, overweight, probably drinking way too much. And somewhere along the line, I had lost myself. And I think, and it's not like, life wasn't bad. It wasn't
Yeah.
really bad, but I had lost the adventure that I used to have when I was in my 20s. I became a mom, loved being a mom. That whole thing was a whole adventure. My parenthood for me was a great trip.
Oh, yeah.
But midlife was when things started to change. And they say that midlife is a bit like middlescence, like a bit like adolescence. You've got these identity changes, you've got hormonal changes. It really is quite, you're in turmoil, except you just don't have the pimples,
Yeah.
and you have a lot of baggage with you as well.
Yeah.
When I say you, I mean a lot of midlifers do, because there's all sorts of things, would have, should have, could have. They might have, things like aged parents, wayward children, divorces, all sorts of things. And I just right then and there, I just thought, I don't like this anymore. I want to
Yeah.
get off. I
Right.
want to get off. And so that was the day that I actually decided to change. I could keep trying to get fit with Pilates classes and, what have you, drinking, eating acai bowls or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in quite a good place for that kind of stuff, but it just wasn't doing it for me. And that was the day I went on my first hike for
That's amazing.
35 years. Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. I
Yeah.
I like the pivot to hiking. I want to talk really fast about cuz so many people talk about midlife and that women lose touch with themselves. And do you think it's really that you lose touch with yourself, or that it is that progression of like we're raising babies, we raise babies, that's kind of our identity.
Mm,
It's not ideal. I'm a homeschool mom, I'm raising the babies, I'm a
mm.
podcaster, but like it's when they leave, there's still going to be an identity shift,
Yeah.
of being someone new. So is it really that we lose ourselves, or that it's just time to kind of get back to who we want to be outside of that identity of parenting?
Well, I think this what you said, secondly, it really is a time. I mean, it's a season that I think you go through. But mine was amplified when I went on that first hike. So I went on the first hike in 35 years. Okay. So
Yeah.
I joined a meetup group. I was the youngest at age 55. Everyone else was 70 or 80. Now, it was only a short hike. It was 12 miles, 17 kilometers, but it was down a deep ravine and up the other side. Now, all the other people in the group were fit and healthy and glowing. And
Uh,
here I was, and I was
trucking.
and and I just looked at them and I thought, I want to be that when I'm that age. I
Yeah.
do not want to stagnate any longer. So that was actually almost like a secondary pivot in the pivot. And it really was a bit of a, slap in the face. You have two choices. You can carry on doing what you're doing, and sort of age gracefully,
Yeah.
or you can age not gracefully with, mud on your face and sweat on your palms or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I love that.
That's what I did.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. And I've been seeing like a lot of my algorithm now on my health journey because everybody wants to get skinny and fit, be the best at in your 50s, better than your 40s and all this stuff. And I watch these women who are like 80 and 90 years old powerlifting. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's going to be me. Like I work out now so that I can do what they're doing at their
Yeah.
age. I
Yeah.
love that. It's not even about that. I love that you got that inspiration. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
That was a gift.
Yeah. It really was. It really was. Yeah.
What have you learned about solitude since you started the solo adventure? And I mean, was there fear about this? Cuz you're talking about your first hike is a group hike. My gosh, your first solo adventure. That had to be
Okay, so
terrifying.
my first adventure was probably about a year after, after that initial hike.
Okay.
And look, it wasn't scary
No.
because I went on a hike that I kind of knew would be quite safe.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to be difficult. I knew that there were exit points. But I love spending time by myself. I'm actually quite, I think, there's an extrovert introverts or something, and I
Yeah.
think I'm one of those. Like, I really like spending time on my own. I find spending time with other people sometimes can be quite exhausting.
Yes.
And so for me, it really is, it's somewhere where I can really explore where I'm at with a higher purpose, where I'm at with other people, where I'm at within myself. And yeah, so no, it wasn't scary, but crossing Greenland was really interesting because there are no trees, right? And so there's no bird song, there's no leaf rustle,
Yeah.
there's no little animals scurrying like chipmunks and everything. It
Wow.
is just silent. And for 2 days, I was walking alone in absolute silence. And it really was. And you think, oh, that could be quite sort of scary or sort of
Yeah.
weird. But it wasn't. It really was sort of higher state kind of stuff.
Wow. What
Mm,
what is something that solitude taught you that you didn't know when the world's noisy? I think
mm.
it's different for me to get away from everybody and sit in here for 10 minutes silently rather than I can't imagine a 2-day hike in nature without any
Yeah.
noise, any other human. What do you learn in that space? Not just about yourself, but maybe even your life experience.
Well, there's no judgment because when you're surrounded by a lot of people, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, there is a lot of judgment, whether or not you are, whether you're just walking down the street or, maybe you're in church and it's, am I really as good as all these other people? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
anywhere you go, there is judgment. But when you're just by yourself, the only person that's going to judge you is yourself. And for some reason, you can afford to be very kind to yourself, and you can give yourself grace on the trail. That's what I find. And I find it because that nature is so healing and it gives us such an endorphin rush anyway. And that, and just coupled with the fact that you haven't got any outside influences judging you, perceived
Yeah.
or unperceived, right? Because,
Yeah.
and yeah, so that's why I just really feel it's my happy place. Yeah.
Has it given
Mm.
you like an advantage? Do you feel like being able to be radically kind to yourself, to give yourself that grace, to not have judgment, to be unplugged from everybody, does it give you a different feeling when you come back and you're around society and you're around people and you're around the judgment? Do you feel different after this experience than you did maybe before?
I think so, and it's not necessarily after each hike. Oh my
Mm.
gosh, I feel so much better after that. I think it's a gradual learning that I've gone through. When I was in my corporate world, I was chasing shiny, glittery things
Mhm.
to impress people that I didn't really like. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And now I met my partner on the bus on the way to a hike at
Nice.
age, late 50s. So, for anyone out there, there's,
There's hope.
magic does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
And so he'd taken early retirement. So I thought, right, oh, that sounds great. I'm going to do that too.
Yeah.
So we both live frugally, and all of a sudden, simple stuff is what makes me far happier now than material things. And so that coupled with this whole thing about this no judgment, I really feel that I'm a lot more peaceful.
Yeah.
I'm a lot more present. Um, Definitely present. Like anywhere I go, I'm just,
You're
wow, look
there.
at those beautiful
Mhm.
flowers. Look how green that grass is. Oh, I'm walking down a little street in Italy. Oh, and I can just stand there and just be amazed by just a normal street scene, which most people would rush past so they can
Of
get to a
course.
museum or whatever.
Yeah.
So it has changed me, yes. Hmm.
I love that. Why do you think people wait so long to give themselves that permission you've taken right now to live fully and present?
Uh, Maybe they don't know uh, what the grass is like on the other side. And it is an unknown thing. My shift happened. It happened overnight. It wasn't like, I woke up one day and said, right, I'm gonna fly to England. I'm gonna hike Hadrian's Wall. I'm going to meet the man of my dreams, and I'm going to give up work. I mean,
Nice.
it didn't happen like that. It was
Yeah.
a slow, gradual thing. So I think once you start taking baby steps, and also I wasn't scared of walking away. When I say walking away from all my friends, I haven't
Yeah.
walked away from all my friends, but I wasn't scared to leave that life because I know that I can always go back to it. I mean, I can always go back and see my friends and be with my friends. And yeah.
Mm. You say you weren't scared to make those moves. A lot of people are. What role does fear actually play in growth for people? Has there been any moment that scares you?
Um, Not really. I think I've never really been too scared to sort of do anything. I've always looked for excitement.
Mm.
And I think in my genetic makeup, fear has always given me a way to sort of work out the best way out of it.
Ah.
So, for example, I mean, my children's father always said, "You fight best when you're in a corner." He said, "That's when you fight best," and
Oh.
and not in a nasty way, as a
Yeah.
compliment,
Yeah.
because we were used to be in business together. So yeah, fear is a funny thing. For some people, it can propel them forward, and some people it can stagnate
Paralyze.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that. Um,
Mm.
Belinda, you worked on clean water projects in Africa. How did those experiences change your perspective on gratitude?
Yeah. So, in a business that my children's father and I had, what we did is we put 10% um, of our um, net profit
Mhm.
to water projects in Africa, and I did that by working through a lot of missionaries as opposed to working through large organizations where your money was going to put new carpet on the
Mm.
floors. And and I was luckily I kind of knew that, and so had a great insight about where the money was going, who the community was, like actually who the community was. And one of the projects was with Annie Shakwaza's orphanage, Kondonani in Malawi, and putting a water bore in for her and a water bore in for the villagers, so the villagers wouldn't come onto the orphanage to actually get the water. But apart from that, in areas where there's high cholera, I just it wasn't like I just felt a calling to do it.
Mhm.
That's all I can say. It was just
Yeah.
like, oh, that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Um, it wasn't me sort of hearing about these, oh my God, these poor women. It really was, oh, that's a problem that needs to be fixed. Yeah.
I love that. What does, if you think about where you were in your 30s, and you think about freedom,
Mm.
what what is the difference between what 30-year-old version of you thought freedom was versus you today and what freedom is?
I probably had a lot of preconceived ideas of what I needed to be and who I needed to be, and what I needed to show in order for other people to accept me back then. And I think that's a sort of a natural progression through life. And now I really don't care. I mean, I'm going back home to in Scotland at the moment. I've been living here for 3 years, and
Okay.
I'm going back to Australia. I am growing out my greys, and I was going to wait for a full 6 to 8 months before I went back. And right now they're only an inch long, and you know what? I don't care. I'm just going
Yeah,
back.
I
Bad
love
hair or
it.
not, I'm going back. I don't care.
I love it. That's
um,
amazing.
Look, I think if we spend our life worrying about what other people think, regardless of what it is, I think we can really put ourselves in a pigeonhole us in a place which isn't beneficial.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah,
Mm,
it just plays into that staying
mm,
stagnant kind of thing.
mm.
Um and people are going to think what they're going to think. And people are going to
Yeah.
talk no matter what. Whether you do something, you don't do something.
Yeah.
And that's it just says a lot about them. It really has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
How has living with lipedema shaped the way that you see strength?
Um, my legs are heavy and it takes a lot of strength to lift them.
Yeah.
No, the jokes aside,
Yeah.
look, um,
That is funny though.
um, look, I, it's, I've stopped worrying about it. And this
Yeah.
is another example of I used to absolutely hate my legs, and
Yeah.
I found a lovely man who really doesn't care.
Yeah.
And that's all you need is you
Yeah.
just need you need somebody else to give you grace as well.
Yep.
This was my demons inside me going, lift your legs,
Yeah,
but
of course.
it is what it is.
Well, I think it's incredible that that is something that someone else would be inside their head about, and they wouldn't be doing things like going on
Mm,
hikes. So I
yeah.
think it says a lot about you that you have the situation and you process it and you're still out there anyway. When
Yeah.
it's going to take you more strength than someone else
Yeah.
who doesn't have it to be able to
Mm,
get where you're going.
yeah. Yeah.
I think
True.
that's amazing.
Mm.
What would you say to the woman listening right now who just feels stuck, invisible, and she's like, "Oh, Belinda, this was great for you, but it's just too late for me to start over."
I would just say baby steps. Just try and make one small change at a time and just keep that change going for, say, 21 days, or whatever. Just give yourself mini goals,
Yeah.
because if you don't, you may set yourself up to fail. And once you've reached these mini goals, whether it be going driving out to an amazing park, going for a lovely hike or whatever, give yourself a pat on the back, treat yourself, and just enjoy the moment. If anyone does really want to get into hiking, I really do recommend joining a meetup group or
Yeah.
a Facebook group, because you are going to be with like-minded people. The hiking culture is probably one of the most inclusive cultures ever. I mean, it really doesn't care what shape or size you are, how fast you are. You will find your tribe to
You'll
hike
find your
with.
people.
Yeah, you really will. Yeah.
I
Mm.
love that. A
Mhm.
question just for fun, for my ladies listening. Belinda, what is the most ridiculous thing that you've ever packed for an adventure that was completely unnecessary?
Oh. um, when I was doing corporate travel, I carried some hand weights.
Okay, that works.
That was dumb. I don't really know, but on the trail, I haven't actually done anything really stupid as yet.
Yeah,
But yeah, I used to travel with some really dumb stuff when I used to go on corporate trips, like
yeah.
really like stuff I didn't even need. No.
That's a girl thing, right? We pack ridiculously. Stuff we never use at home. We're like, "Oh, I'm going on a trip. Maybe I'll use this." Yeah, no.
I know, right?
All the outfits we pack when we wear the same stuff every single day. It's so yeah, I had
Yeah.
to ask. That's funny. What how many people's lives do you think, cuz you just said now speaking to that woman that's kind of lost. Um how many people's lives do you think right now are waiting on the other side of just one brave decision?
I, oh, I think I don't know how if I can put a number on it,
I say
but
too many.
yeah, too many. And it's when I walk down the street, I just see so many people that really are they're going to look and be exactly the same as what they were in 10 as what they will in 10 years time.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's great. If that's what you want, that's
Yeah.
great. But if you're kind of, looking across at people each night at the dinner table, and you just want to make a bit of a change, and you want to just go, just
Just do it.
do something interesting. They can cook their own dinner,
Yeah.
for one night, or a couple of nights. They can do it while you go out and basically embrace life.
Yeah.
I
I
might get
love
into
that.
trouble for that one.
No, 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 no. I love it. I love it so much. I want to talk about your confidence though. Has that changed? We talk a little bit about your 30s, what freedom looked like versus now. Tell me about your confidence level in your 30s versus how you choose to take up space now. Because I think you are just, I can feel your confidence. I can feel you're very certain in who you are. And I think it's beautiful, it's tangible. How did
Mm.
you get there?
Uh, Look, I think when I was in my 30s, I was also very confident there.
Yeah.
I think my confidence started waning in my mid 40s. That's when my confidence started waning then. And I don't know whether or not that was hormonal or that was just a huge uh it was a chain of events which
Yeah.
started that. I went through an awful divorce. Um and it could have been a factor of many things, but that was actually when my confidence started waning. When I was 30, for some reason I felt I was untouchable.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just looking at it through rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And no, I could say like going through divorce and life changes, that is going to mess
Mm,
up your confidence cuz
yeah,
that's I mean
yeah,
that's a natural disaster. Like
yeah.
that is
It is. Yeah,
it's not a fun
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Um what is Belinda, what would be the message at the end of your story? What's the message you really want to be known for?
I think I just want to let women know that no matter who you are special.
Oh,
Like everybody is special. And, you know, it's okay to cry, and it's okay to reminisce on what could have,
Yeah.
should have, would have,
Oh,
but
yeah.
then pick yourself up
Mhm.
off the floor, dry your eyes, and straighten up your crown, and just go for it.
I
Yeah.
love that. And I love your message, and it very much aligns with what I want this show to represent. And this
Mm,
is the part of the show. First of all, I'm going to ask you to tell my audience where they can find you, how they can follow you, how can they get resourced with
mm.
you, watch your
Yeah.
journey.
Oh, you want, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so my hiking website is soultreader.com, and if anyone is interested in hiking, I have a great free resource on my website. It's an 80-page ebook on health, safety, and hygiene on the trail, and I really encourage you to just give it a read. It covers everything from sunburn to frostbite, and everything in between. And you can also find me at thehousesittingcollective.com, where I teach people how to house sit, and that's the ability to travel around the world with no accommodation costs.
Oh, I
Yeah, so
love
that's
that.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is the part of the show, Belinda, where I get to tell you what I think makes you special. And it's not Greenland. It's not the solo hikes. It's not even the adventures. All of that's amazing. But it really, what makes you special is what those adventures represent. And the fact that you're helping people understand that, confidence isn't something that's always with you, but it can come back because it's something you can build with
Yeah.
that decision, one brave choice, and one step at a time. I think that it's special that you're reminding women that life doesn't stop because they hit midlife. In fact, you're showing them, I think that's where life is really beginning, and
Yeah.
showing people that freedom isn't the absence of responsibility, it's the reward for taking that ownership and the massive responsibility for your life. I think
Mm.
your message is being executed very well, that I'm sure everyone that comes in contact with you knows that they're special. Everyone listening, maybe the thing you're looking for isn't confidence. Maybe it's just courage, because confidence comes later, you guys. It's after that
Mm.
first little decision, it's after the little step, it's after the leap, after the decision. God didn't create you to spend your whole life wondering, what if? He
Mm.
created you to live, to grow, to explore, to become, to be courageous, to be curious. And you guys, please remember that your mess is your message. Even the fear, even the uncertainty, even the seasons that you feel completely lost or the rug's been taken out from under you, there may be, those could be the very things that are preparing you for the next adventure. So if this episode spoke to you, please share it out. Help me get this show. Belinda, once she has some incredible resources to share, let's get that out, help her do that. You know people and have access to people we don't. So I appreciate that selfless act today. If you guys are ready for the hot seat, I dare you to come tell me why you're special. Belinda, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You're great.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Brandon.